Oh boy, all right. I just finished Gears of War 4 and it's time to talk about this one. Oh man, I have the giant statue of JD on the motorcycle from the Ultimate Edition. It's full of cobwebs. I didn't feel like cleaning it for this video because, I just don't respect this game. I haven't for the past 10 years. And I just replayed it as part of my Gears of War marathon. And so I just want to talk about it. All in all, it wasn't as bad as I remember, but the more I think about it, just the more it's like I don't like it, and just like, yeah, cool steelbook. I have the Ultimate Edition, okay, because I was a big Gears of War fan ever since the first game. I'm like, I have to get the collector edition of everything, but just like for the past 10 years, I'm looking at the statue. It's my biggest collector's edition statue, and just like taunts me. I'm like, man, like that game, I don't love it. So if you play Gears of War 4, um, the story in Gears and why I feel like so many people love Gears is the lore so built out. It's just built out that's just meant for expansion. E Day, between E Day and the events of Gears of War 1, there's like 14 years between that. And even still, they talk about the Pendulum Wars, which was like, before even the Locust showed up, there was war going on between the COG and the UIR. So at the end of Gears of War 3, the Locusts are they're killed. That's how the story ends. Like they did it. They defeated the Locusts. Like the world is saved. And there's so many openings. You can go in between games. You can go to the 14-year gap between E Day and the beginning of Gears of War 1 when Marcus gets released from prison. You can go before E Day and the Pendulum Wars. This game starts out with those two concepts, and it's almost like the best part of the entire game. It's so hype where you're playing as Dom, and you're against the UIR in the Pendulum Wars. I think it's Aspho Fields, which there's a novel based on that. And then after that, you play as Kim, another pre-established character, and you're playing him like on E Day. And so, like, yeah, instead of using all this built-out lore like that was built on Gears for like more IP placement and expansion of like the universe, and all these other characters that have been established that you can build on in the past, which Rom Shadow and Gears of War Judgment did very well, by the way. They made a sequel to Gears of War 3. And now I don't know if that's like Big Daddy Microsoft saying like we need to have a sequel to Gears of War 3, something that comes after because just like people are used to sequels or something. Um yeah, I don't know. So like the writers of this game, I kind of don't even want to fault them because they were definitely written into a corner. And as a huge Gears of War fan, I would not want to be part of the writers' room having to do a sequel to Gears of War 3. Like, come on. Like, so yeah, they have to bring the Locust back somehow. And I guess the way they approached it was acceptable. The whole swarm thing and like the butterfly thing at the beginning of having to explain the whole like they cocooned up and like basically turned into butterflies. They evolved. Um, I guess it makes sense. It's a decent attempt at it. But as a consequence, to build up to that, to continue to make sense, you have the opening of the game. Like besides that like the prologue stuff, like Act One of this game. I'm not going to include Gears of War 5, so I won't say the whole franchise, but the franchise up to this point, from Gears of War 1 to 4 and Judgment, you have the most boring act in the entire franchise, where you're fighting the robots, and you're doing a heist on a COG facility to get a fabricator. And I hate the fact that they made the fabricator like try to make it like canon part of the story. Like, yeah, I get the fabricator for making Horde better. Horde in this game was great. My good memories of Gears of War 4 was Horde and multiplayer, but I'm not here talking about Horde and multiplayer. I'm talking about the campaign. It's just so ridiculous. The whole concept of the fabricator just feels like so like unrealistic. It takes me out of it, and it's just like, for what? To get these like Horde levels? Is the worst part of Gears of War Judgment is like the in-campaign Horde levels, and likewise in Gears of War 4, they're the most boring parts. In Act 1, right out the gate, you have just this Horde level, and it's such a time waster, time filler. I don't think it's very fun. They can be challenging, sure, but like it just takes me out of like the story and the action and all that. Um, but like, yeah, so you can't start the game out with the locust or the swarm right out the bat. You have to build it up and explain it. So I, I'm not gonna fault them too hard for that. Like the robots are not fun. I don't even think it's just the robot fighting the robots as the characters. Like their weapons, it's like, oh, we have a new game. We need new enemies. We need new weapons, and it's like the whole line of like electric shock weapons. I don't think they're fun to use at all. Um, not a single one of them do I enjoy using, and so that just like makes it. I think they're stronger against the robots, so I pick them up and use them, and like you just run out of ammo. I don't think you don't get the Lancer till Act 2, so you're kind of forced. Like not only do they introduce these weapons that are not fun to use, but you're like forced to use them for the whole first act. Something else about the first act that just makes it even worse is just like I think this game might have been built from the ground up in like a new engine or something. Like I don't know, like there was such a huge shock with the UI. I thought the UI in Gears 1, 2, and 3 are perfect. In 4, it feels really shrunken. I don't know if it's because of like my TV or what, the way it scales. Um, but it's not really just the UI that's like the problem. It's everything under the hood with like Gears 1, 2, and 3, it didn't take me very long to find like a good sensitivity. I actually knocked mine down to like low, or like I think to like out of 10, like maybe I put it down to like 5 out of 10. And this one they upped it all to 20, and they added like acceleration. And I spent the whole so much of the first act just trying to get my feel, like the control feel, just feeling good. And like this is the fifth Gears of War game I played in a row, and like I don't think I ever even got it to a point where I thought it felt good. I was just like I wanted to stop tinkering with it, and just play the game. And so like throughout the whole thing, my experience kind of almost felt compromised. Like it never felt great. The other four, I got it to feel good every time. And so just like I'm playing the most boring opening act, tinkering with these like sensitivity settings, and it's just it makes not a fun experience. And yeah, it ends with this climactic horde like in campaign, and yeah, I don't know. And so, yeah, the characters, you have JD, Marcus and Anya's son. Well, that's a kind of cool direction. It's 25 years later after Gears of War 3. And then you get two other characters, Kate, with like spoilers throughout this video. Like she ends up being like the granddaughter of the Locust Queen, which is like at the very end you get that reveal, but really up until the end, her only significance is kind of like she's like you're trying to rescue her mom. And then there's Dell, who just like, is JD's best friend, which is kind of similar to Dom, but like, yeah, there's nothing besides that really that make you like care about Dell that much. So it's just those three. And I feel like another part about the swarm, especially when you get to like Act 3 and they introduce the swarm, and Marcus is taken. So, you go find Marcus, ask him for help, and then eventually he gets taken by the swarm. And one of the things, like throughout the whole thing, is you're trying to like, rescue Marcus and rescue her mom, and like they do a pretty good job in Act 3, maybe even Act 4 a little bit in terms of like the set and setting of giving this almost a horror vibe, very similar to Gears 1. But even with that like better horror vibe, the swarm does kind of look scarier than the locusts, and some of the settings at that point start to get a little more into horror territory. And you're trying to rescue Marcus and Kate's mom. And these guys are just goofing around the whole time, just saying the silliest lines. Like, I don't know. I know in like Gears 1, 2, and 3, they're always saying something like another grub or something, or like another one down, or just something like that. They just say the goofiest things. And every time Kate says something like, are you late for something? Or, like doing overtime, or I don't know. She says something silly. And I'm just like, you should be like pissed and scared and like trying to get like, trying to rescue your mom or something. And she's like goofing around the whole time. And they're all just saying this like silly stuff. Like, I don't know, maybe it makes sense since they went 25 years and not actually experiencing like actual war against the locusts. I don't know, but it's like, they should have just committed to like the horror vibe or something, made these characters scared or something. But it's like, I don't know, these writers and like they make the audience like, they want to make like scary characters, but then they're like, oh, we don't want to scare you too much. Like, I don't understand the direction they're going to this. And then like, again, the silliness. Act 2, you're riding on the motorcycle, and Marcus is on the back of yours, is your JD. And Marcus is like saying this silly stuff about like, don't scratch the bike, it's an antique. It's like, dude, your entire house and your life just got destroyed like in less than an hour. And you're worried about scratches on the bike. Like, I don't, I don't think Marcus said anything that like dumb in like the past four games. So just the whole writing in this game is just it's just silly all around. And then like Act 4 felt completely pointless when you get to the dam. This one was a slog for me because you get to the dam and Marcus is like, we should call backup, meaning like Baird and Cole. We should call backup. And Kate's like, no, we have no time to waste. Like, we can't call backup. And then JD's like taking her side, like, would you wait? You were in her situation before. Would you wait? And Marcus is like, no. And it's like they know the hive, this like second hive, like the big hive where like Kate's mom is behind the dam. And I don't know why like they can't like go through it. Like they have to get to the top of the dam for some reason. So this whole act, all you're doing is getting to the top of the dam to get this bird's eye view to see like how big and massive this nest is. And you get to the top and you see how big it is, and then Marcus is like, "We should really get back up," and then Kate's just like, "Okay," and so like the whole reason why they didn't get back up at the beginning of Act 4 is to not waste time. But instead of going to get back up and then going through the dam and like going in there, like they go through the dam, then you have to go back and get the backup and then come back. And it ends up like wasting more time than if they went to just get back up in the first place. So all of Act 4 is just like, it's just dumb. It's just, I don't know, the whole climax is just to fight that Swarmac boss fight where the swarm guy comes in and he starts talking English, like not English like I know the drones talk a little bit, or some of the some of the locusts talk a little bit like headshot or something like that. This dude's like talking like pretty good English and he's just like, ha ha ha, we got your mom. And it's just like, so I don't know, it's just so silly. Like they take like the whole writing of the story of the robots at the beginning and then having to bring the locusts back. Like I'm not faulting the writers for that part because they're genuinely backed into a corner. Like making a sequel to Gears of War 3 makes no sense why you would continue on. Like they're making Gears of War E-Day coming up. E-Day should have been what Gears of War 4 is, where you go to E-Day, play as Marcus and Dom, and make an entire trilogy starting with E-Day that ends in Marcus getting arrested and going to jail. But they decided to make a sequel to Gears of War where the locusts are already dead and they do have to bring it back. So that part of the writing, like, I'm not going to fault them for it. But making the characters silly throughout the whole game, like, I don't know. That part, like, all they had to do was, like, commit to the horror vibe of it and not go that silly route. And it would have, I think that would have made this campaign a lot better because all in all, having to make a sequel to Gears of War 3, like, again, whoever made that decision, I really hope wasn't a Gears of War fan. Like, it was someone from Microsoft saying you had to do that because, like, why would you choose this direction? But if we have to go the route of a sequel trilogy, this is a decent start. I mean, them making Kate the grandmother of the Locust Queen is a little compelling at the end. But again, you have a post-credit scene, so then they make it silly again, like, right after that. Like, after that, it's like, oh, okay, and then Oscar survives breaking out of a snatcher. Again, it's like Marcus, like he spent like a whole act of the game rescuing Marcus, who got caught like through a snatcher. And it's like the Marcus Phoenix couldn't break out of it by himself, but like Oscar can. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just another thing that takes me out of it. So I don't know. In this marathon of Gears of War games, it was okay. That was kind of my opinion of it when it first came out, where as a sequel to attempt to continue the series, it's passable. It's okay. It's like, all right, you got the setup out of the way, of like having to, go through the slog of like explain the locust coming back. And yeah, when Baird and Cole come back and Sam even, like, that was great to see. I love that. Especially Sam, like Sam showing up, loved that part of it. But again, fighting as like giant robots, that just added like to the silliness of it, I feel like. And yeah, Kate didn't want backup, and like we're going in there, she's like, oh, I want to keep this thing. I don't know. I love the Gears of War franchise. This one, it's like, it was an okay attempt, given the parameters that they had to make a sequel to Gears of War 3. I truly hope that the writers didn't want to make a sequel to Gears of War 3, that it was just their job to make a sequel to Gears of War 3. But some of the writing with like the characters and being like super silly, like I don't know who they're trying to like relate to, like a younger audience or something, who just like, yeah, or just people who are afraid to get scared. Like they should have committed to more of a horror vibe. Get rid of the in campaign horde levels. Those are just time fillers. Act 4 felt like a complete time filler, to be quite honest, but Act 1 was like a necessary evil. It was boring, but a necessary evil. Act 2, when you get Marcus, like, yeah, maybe it's just a little nostalgia, like, oh, Marcus is back, this is cool. But I am glad they made it so you didn't play as Marcus in a sequel series and that he's just there with you. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I got to say about Gears of War 4. Um, Kind of didn't feel as good as the other games, to be honest. People probably say like from multiplayer, Horde it probably feels the best, but just like I don't know, I had a hard time at the beginning getting my controls feeling good. This isn't the direction I would have went in. E-Day, which is coming up, is a good direction that I would want them to go in. But yeah, we'll see. I haven't played Gears of War 5 since 2019, so I'm very interested to see like I said, my initial impressions when I first played this game when it launched and now are pretty much unchanged. It's like, okay, I didn't love the game that much, but like it's the setup, it's a decent direction, it's got potential for a trilogy. So Gears of War 5 and how they follow this up is really going to be important, especially story wise. It's gonna be very important how they handle that, and well, I already know how the ending of Gears of War 5 goes, so not looking forward to that. And I guess I can already tell you what my Gears of War 5 thought is. Like I still hope with E Day they do they finish this trilogy. Like there's nothing more I dislike than a trilogy left unfinished. Especially with that kind of ending of Gears 5. We're jumping ahead of Gears 5. I haven't played it yet. I'm going to, but it's just when I think of all of the Gears of War games up to this point, I feel like I could hop in and play one like individually. Like I can just like play Gears of War 2 without playing 1 or 3. I can just hop into 3 if I really wanted to, especially co-op, or I could hop into Judgment. But I don't think I would ever choose to like just go in and play Gears of War 4. Oh man, they also have like I was looking through, they have the Iron Man mode, which I guess they introduced in this one. They also have in like 5, I think. And Iron Man mode is you can play the game, and if you die, you have to start over. And when I saw that on the menus, I haven't played it, but that's a mode that like is kind of compelling to me. Like, ooh, someday, like I would like to do something like that. With Gears of War Reloaded, this remake in 2025. Why did they not include that mode in Gears of War? Like, these are the guys that started the Iron Man mode. They had to be the easiest feature to implement. Like, just something like, if you died, then you have to start over. Like, that's it. I would much rather attempt an Iron Man mode run on Gears of War 1 than I would in Gears of War 4. Like, I don't want to play Gears of War 4, like, by itself. Or that often. Like the only time I want to play Gears of War 4 is in context of what I'm doing now, a marathon, the whole trilogy of like the whole series. And in that context, I'm glad it exists because I'm glad there's more Gears of War to play. And like it makes the low points of this game not as bad when I'm kind of playing the whole series as like this one giant experience. Like that's the best way to stomach Act 1 of this game and even Act 4. But why not add Iron Man mode to Gears of War 1? I actually would like to play Iron Man mode, but I would rather do it in Gears of War 1. And sure, I don't need a mode to tell me like that if I die, I have to start over. But it's like, come on, like that had to be like the easiest thing to do, and like that kind of makes me mad about the Gears of War Reloaded and how just tiny of an effort it was and just like bare bone. Like, dude, that has to be like 2 lines of code. Like whenever you die, it's like when you like in the die routine, like if Iron Man mode is activated, then like delete the game. Like that has to be like 2 lines of code. Honestly, like one little if statement, and it's like they can't even add that. Like, oh, they have to update the menu. But oh man. Coalitions, like all right. And yeah, like with the controls and my stuff, it's like almost trying to make it too much like esports. And I don't think Gears of War should be like considered like an esports game. Like cool for people that play competitively, but we all know how it's all like a Nasher only type of thing. And it's fun, it's all right. I love the multiplayer of these games, but like when we look back at it, like in the future, as I'm doing now, we go back to these games. Like I care about the campaign. Like these are the things we're gonna be playing later, and it's just like just make me a good campaign. It's like and the controls are like real funky. I almost wish they just had like a different type of like I don't know. Don't make it so hardcore for like a single player game. But I know it's not at the core single player game, but that's how it's gonna age and be and continue to be revisited in the future. So all in all, it's mediocre, man. It's mediocre, but yeah, whatever. one more to go. Gears of War 5. So you guys like Gears of War 4? When's the last time you played it? Or yeah, I don't know if you hate this game, the campaign anyway. Give it a second chance in the context of a marathon of the series. It definitely is making me like not as embarrassed when I look at my statue. It's like I don't know. This game represents potential, but not fully fulfilled potential. So like and subscribe if you made it this far, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.